Right now, funding is fully available for the 2024 capital budget that has been finalized and is in the gateway up to September. Funding is available for a portion, and the other portion, the plan is to roll it over to 2026 budget. Likewise, for the 2025 capital budget, funding has been made, warrants have been issued, and funding is available for 30% of that budget, with the plan, with the cooperation and the support of the National Assembly to roll over the 75%. When we look at borrowing, we have roughly 152 trillion naira outstanding. And that figure was about 70 trillion naira in 2023 or so. But what accounts for the difference? 30 trillion, as we all know, was the bringing into the light, bringing into the books of the government of ways and means that were previously just ignored and kept outside. Another 50 trillion was accounted for by the fact that the exchange rate doubled. I mean, central bank in its monetary policy focused on clearing backlogs and bringing in foreign reserves, and we know how successful they have been. So of 152 trillion naira, 80 was essentially not new borrowing. It was more regularization and adjustment.
All mentioned here today that we have 2024, we are in 2025, but you have 1 year revenue. Use it to manage 2-year budget. So even if you met the 1 year revenue, how will you hear the Honorable Minister say, I'm paying 2024, whereas you are taking 2025 revenue to pay 2024. So when Mr. President said, when we said, because as of the work we've all done, that we've met revenue target, which is annually, but you are using 1 year revenue to manage more than 1 year budget. That is why you are seeing the outstanding, and which is what Honorable Minister is trying to do. That now let's have a consolidated budget. So because if I have 1 year revenue, let me use it to manage 1 year expenditure. But in a situation that I have a year revenue to manage multi-years revenue expenditure, we will continue to have this imbalance.
Macroeconomic reforms, some of the measures we have taken have implications that were not immediately obvious. The impact of the 22.7 trillion naira securitization is still being felt in terms of interest costs, particularly rising interest costs. But more importantly, not only rising interest costs, almost the inability to go to the central bank when we have demand beyond the legal limits.
Very confused set of people. You are carrying 2024 budget over to 2026. Meanwhile, ahead of 2026, you have already borrowed money, and that money has been spent. On what? The Nigerian government keeps borrowing money every now and then. They borrow money, and at the end of the day, they cannot account for what they use the money for. You don't see what they use it for. So it is as if they are borrowing to loot. They borrow the money and they share it among themselves. That is what it is looking like. Because what did you use the money for? Show us. Show us evidence. And you keep tasking the citizens. The citizens are the ones to suffer. You borrow and you task it on the citizens. And what you borrowed the money for, we cannot see it. What did you borrow the money for? What did you use it for? Show us. You borrow money to address the issues of insecurity. At the end of the day, Nigeria is still experiencing a high level of insecurity. So what is the need? To what end? The government keeps borrowing money, yet a single individual used $5 million to pay school fees for his 4 children at the secondary school level. $5 million to pay for his children's school fees, 4 children, 4. At the secondary school level, in Switzerland, 1 person, and the country is in debt. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But that is the reality. It is a reality in Nigeria. When the late President Muhammadu Buhari handed over power to the present President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the first thing he did was to remove fuel subsidy. When he made that decision, a lot of Nigerians cried. People cried. And some people were in support. Some supported innocently, thinking that it was for the good of the people. Why some supported because it is APC. Some supported because Tinubu is a Yoruba man. Some supported because Tinubu is a Muslim. As far as he is a Yoruba, his decision was perfect. As far as he's a Muslim, his decision was right. I never supported because I knew from the very beginning that it was for his selfish interests. Because I knew from the very beginning that move was not going to favor Nigerians. It was a wicked move for selfish interests. And that is what is playing out today. You know, one of the worst mistakes you can make is to trust the wrong set of people. To waste your trust on the wrong person. Sometimes it is good to give a benefit of doubt, but not for people you know too well. That was the reason I did not support the fuel subsidy removal from the onset, because I knew it was for a selfish reason. What is the benefit today? What are Nigerians benefiting from the fuel subsidy removal? What are they benefiting? On top that, you keep tasking the people. When you spit, you have to pay tax. If you shout, you pay tax. When you call out on your children, you pay tax. You pay tax for almost everything. So the citizens are the ones to pay the money the government borrowed and did not use for anything reasonable, right? They borrow to loot. That is what it is looking like. The politicians are living extravagant life. Cut down the cost of governance. For where? They would not do it. Because they know that it is for their selfish gain. Where are we heading to? Where are we heading to? Ahead of 2026, money has been borrowed already, and that money has been spent. Who is going to pay? Just like a man going out to borrow a huge sum of money to take care of his family, to pay school fees, pay house rent, pay bills, to ensure that there is food in the house for his family. And at the end of the day, school fees are unpaid, house rent unpaid, bills unpaid. Your home is the headquarter of hunger. No food. So what did you borrow the money for? And your creditor is patiently waiting for you to pay back his money with interest. You did not invest the money anywhere. What did you use it for? Your children are still hungry. They cannot go to school because they have not paid their school fees. Landlord keeps knocking on your door every now and then because you are owing. So what did you use the money for? What did you use it for? Nigerian government, why do you keep borrowing? And at the end of the day, you cannot account for what you use the money for. You cannot give a proper account. And you are tasking the citizens. You keep tasking the citizens who are not benefiting from you. Basic needs have become luxury. The people can barely afford the things they cannot do without. What do we call this? This is more than mismanagement. This is robbery. That is what it is. You are robbing the people. You borrow money to address the issue of insecurity. Yet, the rate of insecurity in Nigeria is very high. And when we say that this government came to fulfill the assignment of the devil, you think we don't know what we are saying? What is the devil's assignment? To kill, to steal, and to destroy. That is what this government is doing. They kill the people, they steal from the people, and they are destroying the people, destroying the system, destroying the nation. That is what they are doing. Anyway, it is well.